Welcome to Classroom 2 Courtroom. Here's your host, Scott Benton.
Hey everyone, Scott Benton here. I am the host of the Classroom 2 Courtroom podcast, where we help you easily transition from a law school student into your professional career as an attorney, and where we make the practice of law fun. Now today we're going to take a look at the value of winning as well as losing a trial, winning and losing. Are you a law student or recent graduate waiting for admission to the California bar and eager to gain real-world legal experience? Join the Legacy Lawyers' coveted associate programs in sunny Southern California. Our hands-on spring, summer, and fall programs provide opportunities to dive into high-stakes probate litigation. If you aspire to litigate and thrive in an America First culture that values God, family, and country, we want you on our team. Don't wait, space is limited. Call 714-766-0457 to learn more about this exciting opportunity. That's 714-766-0457. Elevate your legal career with the Legacy Lawyers. So let's say that you've started your career as a litigation attorney, and eventually you get to a point where you're going to take a case all the way to trial, and this is going to be your first trial. So you work diligently to prepare for it. You deal with all the trial fear that leads up to that big moment where you find yourself in a courtroom in front of a judge for the first time, and you're in that position of lead attorney for your client. And when your first trial is over, it turns out that all of your hard work actually paid off and you won, which means that you're happy, your client is happy, the firm that you work for is happy, your parents are happy, your law school professors are happy. It seems like the whole world's happy that you won this case in a court of law. And from it, maybe a week later, you sit down and you go through every step that you took that ultimately achieved this victory. You go back over all the stats carefully because by virtue of winning that case, you recognize the value in revisiting your work to duplicate it for any future cases that you work on. Since the case was won, naturally you're going to see value in the work you and your firm did to ultimately realize that win. Then, let's say a month later, another one of your cases goes to trial, and this time, just like you did with your previous trial, you spend a lot of time on the trial prep, and you use some of the ideas from the case that you won to get ready for trial. However, once you go into the courtroom, a few things go unexpectedly sideways and you end up losing the trial. This time around, while your client's happy with your work, they're unhappy about the results, of course. Your firm doesn't roll out the fanfare like they did last time, and your parents don't even call to find out how you're doing. Everyone just wants to forget all about it. So you're actually at a crossroads now because you might be tempted to forget all about it as well and not sit down like you did with the previous trial in order to reflect on the case and determine what went well and what could have probably been improved upon. It might be more difficult to do a deep dive on a case that you've lost than on a case that you've won, because it might seem there's just no value in looking closer at the cases that you've lost. But as far as your ability to accelerate your career as a litigation attorney goes and to become competent, confident, and highly skilled on your future trials, there's really no better way to get there than by looking at and analyzing the trials that you both won and lost. Whatever happens to your case, you as the attorney, in order to grow and in order to grow rapidly, you need to spend some time inside the space of both outcomes and breaking them down to get a better grasp on how ultimately to sharpen your legal skills. So it's a little like that old quote that's usually attributed to history, and it says, "Those who do not remember the past are condemned to repeat it." Now, going back over your trials and taking a closer look at what went well and what could be improved upon means accelerating the development of your skills and your abilities to navigate the legal services that you provide your clients to such a high level that your effectiveness as an attorney, it's simply going to skyrocket dramatically. For attorneys who do not go back after their trials are over and do not learn from their work, are either going to take a very long time to get good at their job, or they're just simply going to stagnate, or maybe even just make the same mistakes over and over again. In fact, when it comes to learning what to do, and maybe more importantly, what not to do, the trials that you lose have much more value where growth is concerned than the cases that you win, Because a lot of the time with cases that you lose, there's pain or discomfort or some kind of negative outcome, maybe even embarrassment that's associated with that case that you really never want to repeat again, which becomes an absolutely excellent motivator to really learn a particular legal area or maybe a courtroom dynamic that you might have missed the first time around. So with that in mind, and maybe as a little bit more of a thought experiment, the more painful a trial is, especially if you lost the case, the better it is, because that's when you really learn those valuable lessons. So there's a tremendous amount of value in lost cases that you really don't want to miss, as painful as it might be to go back and look at them. Make sure you squeeze out all of the value that you can from those experiences and get those teachings implanted in your head where they won't be easily forgotten. In fact, when you talk to litigators, even top litigators who seem like they probably never made a single mistake in any case during their entire career, and you ask them about how they got so good at practicing law, they're usually going to tell you all about the boneheaded mistakes that they made that really taught them how to become an excellent attorney. And most of these stories are going to have some extremely painful moments or episodes with lessons in them that they just never forgot. And they might be so painful that they're going to be lessons that even you'll never forget as well. And it's why celebrating wins and celebrating losses can be so extremely valuable. So try to remember that on the path of providing excellent legal services to your clients and for them during trials, not only will you find an absolute treasure trove of value in the trials that you win, but arguably you're going to find even more powerful and more important teachings in the trials that you actually lose. So don't miss out on the opportunity to look very closely at all of your courtroom experiences, whether or not you ultimately were victorious. My name is Scott Benton. I'm the host of Classroom to Courtroom podcast. Thank you so much for watching this episode. If you're finding this to be valuable information and you'd like to receive an alert every time we put out a new episode, you can go to our website. Our website is classroom2courtroom.com. That's classroom, the number 2, courtroom.com. You can leave us your contact information there, and we will send out an alert so that you know a new episode is available. Don't forget to share and subscribe, and we hope you'll join us on our next episode of the Classroom to Courtroom podcast. And we also hope you'll join us in the meantime of making the world a better place, one client at a time. Thank you so much.
Thanks for joining us on Classroom to Courtroom, the podcast designed to help launch your first-time legal career. If you have any feedback or ideas for episodes you'd like to hear, you can always find us at classroom2courtroom.com, where you can leave comments, ask questions, and even join our online community. And always remember, by becoming an excellent and confident practicing attorney, you actually make the world a better place. Now get out there and master the art of practicing law.